Hey guys, I hope you are all doing well. It kind of just dawned on me that I probably didn't introduce myself last video. Sorry about that. My name is Sasha and I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. So for this week's video, we'll be taking a look at this dining room set. I bought it last year from Temu with the intention of making some changes. It took me a while, but this is kind of that video. I am just going to give you a walkthrough of how I achieved it using supplies I already had to make it a bit more realistic and to fit the aesthetics of the dollhouse. So the first thing we'll be working on is the table. It is, I'll say, white with blue undertone and lots of blue speck, but it probably could be a very pale blue table. But we'll be changing that using white vinyl, and we'll also need a econ. First things first, I recommend using the wet wipes or damp cloth to wipe down the tabletop to remove any dirt or grime from it. Next up, I will be drawing a guide on the back of the vinyl. I work with a lot of vinyl inside my dollhouse, and I do this to ensure that at the end of my vinyl application, I have enough overhang on all sides to do my wraparound. Next, I will be peeling back one corner of the vinyl until I get to a point where part of the vinyl that's within the guide is exposed, after which I line up the table using the guide and press down to attach that exposed section to the tabletop. Then I'll flip it over. At this point, I'm removing the backing and applying the vinyl bit by bit to prevent any air bubbles. I will say while applying the vinyl, I discovered that the tabletop wasn't as smooth as it appeared, and so any imperfection that is there will become noticeable with the vinyl. The upside is when it's in the space, it is really not that noticeable. Using the lowest setting and working in small sections, I am using the heat gun to soften the vinyl so that I can easily smooth it over the edges and to get the excess underneath the table. Now, because it is actually not flat, I am using the end of a paintbrush to secure the excess into the groove. Once everything was smooth and secure and to my liking, I went in with my X-Acto knife to cut away the excess vinyl. Now, in doing this step, I used the groove as a cutting guide, and I took my own sweet time to do this to ensure that I was cutting only the vinyl and not the tabletop. If any areas lifting after the cutting, just go back in with the heat gun and the paintbrush and you'll be good. Fortunately, I don't have any footage of it, but I went ahead to paint the base of the table as well as the chairs with black acrylic paint and then sealed it with clear matte spray paint. Now I am working on the chair seats. What I did was to use the seat to trace the shape onto cardboard and cut it out, and we will be gluing this to the seat. And we're doing this for two main reasons. One, to make the thickness a bit more realistic, but also to add a few more height to it because the chair as is sits a bit low for the dolls. So I wanted to increase the height, but I didn't want to do anything to the legs. So this was the best way to do that. Next, I will be using cotton batting to cover the cardboard and seat. I am doing this for the main purpose of hiding the texture of the cardboard as well as to hide the layers, so that when I get to the fabric stage, the seat appears as one seamless unit. I am adding the glue to the edge of the chair and do so to the edge only, because we won't be taking the batting to the underneath, we'll just be attaching it to the edge, and this way it allows us to reduce the bulk. Once you've added the glue, take your time to manipulate the batting so that you will get it to have little to no gathering, and if you go slowly enough you will get it without any gathering or wrinkles. Continue to manipulate it until it is attached and wrinkle free. You might need to go in and add more glue. Do so as necessary and needed so that all spaces are secure and wrinkle free. Once you've done that, set aside and allow it to dry. Once the glue is dry, go ahead and cut away the excess, which I did off camera, and this is what it should look like at the end of that process. Using the fabric of choice, I placed it on the seat and went ahead to reposition it as many times as needed to ensure that my greens are straight. Feel free to skip this step if you really do not care. We'll be repeating the same steps we used to attach the batting to the seat. However, this time around, we'll be putting the glue on the underneath instead. Then, again, carefully manipulate the fabric to get as little gathers as possible. I recommend starting from the corners and work your way around. Now, it is important to note that while we might end up with gathers on the underneath, we want to avoid getting gathers on the sides. So continue to do this step, lifting and reapplying glue and reattaching the fabric as many times as needed to minimize the amount of gathers showing on the sides. Once everything was to my liking, I set aside the seat and allowed the glue to dry. Once dried, I went in with a razor blade to cut away the excess fabric. I used the groove as a cutting guide, and the video is a bit sped up, so in real time I was going extremely slow, taking my time to ensure that I was cutting the fabric only and not the seat. Once you've removed all the excess fabric, you should end up with something like this. It is important to know that the way we attach the batting and the fabric was very intentional because we will be reattaching the seat to the chair the way the manufacturer told us, rather than using glue. Because in future, if I want to change it again, it is easy to just pop off and pop back on. So there we have it, another thing off my to-do list, which I'm super happy about, and I'm even happier about how this project turned out. If you like it and do decide to try it, I would love to see it, so feel free to tag me on Instagram at reallifedoll. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Don't forget to please subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.